beginning, the fault lines was cut off. Then around the 9-minute mark, Jamal starts talking about Shane leaving over a disagreement over the weekend with someone else, not himself. Shane quit because I told him to. Over a month or two, I was in that chat room, which Shane was moderating. He never banned me. No one seems to get banned in there. So over the course of a month or two, I was relentless in regards to the white tablet teleprompter and how that they were busted as rigged. And I would say other things. I'm an honest person. Just telling them they're just one show, not to get their panties in a bunch. They're one show. But thank you. I thank them for that because it exposed all the shows.
If you want to join in on the conversation, you can do so with a chat, a tweet, and of course, you can reach us by phone at 202-521-1320. That is 202-521-1320. Your engagement helps makes this show what it is, so definitely don't be shy. I was going to have this conversation today about Biden making this argument about the pandemic of the unvaccinated. But before I get into that conversation and that particular dialogue, I want to have a conversation about something that has taken place on the show over the weekend that all of you need to be aware of, because you're going to be aware of it tomorrow and going forward either way. So there was an issue that took place, a disagreement that took place over the weekend. And Shane, my typical co-host, is no longer going to be on the show, and it is effective immediately. I'm not going to go into all of the details of the issue that came up. I'm not going to go into the back and forth that took place. All I'm giving you the heads up is that Shane is no longer here. We are going to have Austin Pelly. Austin used to be the producer for the show. The guy was great as a producer. He's been working with Lee on his show, and for a while he was working on Political Misfits, but he is basically coming back home to his original fault lines. Austin is a right-winger, very bright, and he should make a good addition as a foil or as a counter-host or a co-host on the issues of fault lines. After all, the show is named Fault Lines. The entire point of it is this kind of opposition and giving sides the ability to kind of speak their piece. And Austin should be a great addition to that. Look, I would say this. There's no bad blood on the team. There's no bad blood from the standpoint of Shane and the rest of the teammates. So there was nothing with that. The issue had nothing to do with me. So there's that part. And look, from our standpoint, Shane was a great host. And for the longest time, I would say the show consistently improved from the time that we eventually took over, which was basically like kind of in the middle of the week where everybody was still suffering from COVID. We still weren't necessarily working. We were still working remotely. All of us ended up pulling together in order to kind of get the show and reorient it. And then this kind of changeover where the show became from fault lines with Garland and Lee to fault lines with Thomas and Stranahan. It was a weird changeover, especially since I got my teeth on fault lines when I first started coming here as kind of an analyst. And so us getting the show together, it took a while, but we were able to get to a point where both of us were comfortable in our skins. It felt like it was no longer us taking over for somebody else, but it felt like it was our show in the strictest sense of the term. And he's going to be missed. I enjoyed Shane as a co-host, and we often used to bump heads. The bumping heads was always legit and always serious, but for the most part, we never necessarily let that stuff kind of beyond the show for any real measure. And by the time, for the last several months, we basically hit our stride. So I would say that Shane's going to be missed, and it's unfortunate that situation developed in the way that it did, where he basically ended up leaving the show. So I'll leave that at that, but I definitely wanted to give you guys a heads up. I didn't want you kind of to be in the dark as to why you weren't seeing Shane or why all of a sudden Austin Pelly is here. It's like, hey, they tried to switch white guys and didn't give us a heads up, as if nobody was going to notice that they were switching white guys. It's like, not like white guys are interchangeable. So no, I wanted to give you guys a heads.
Later later on the show, he has someone on called Farhan Franzak. She's from Russia Today. There are 2 points. I was watching it as a live stream. I had to wait till they ended to see what was going on for downloading this. I don't have much to share here because it's pretty much the story's over. Shane didn't show up. So yes, at the beginning, you can only see the table for mere seconds. They slid something underneath his cell phone to make it look like the white tablet teleprompter. This is a pretty big open secret that I've cracked open. My YouTube channel right here is the reason why Shane Stranahan quit Sputnik. He quit Fault Lines. They're trying to make it seem that he disagreed with the staff over COVID or something. I buggered that guy for a couple months, like I said, like I kept repeating, and I'm repeating now. I asked these guys, are you an indentured servant? Are you career disinfo shells? What's going on here? So the guy, he's not there anymore. That's what this video is. That's why I'm stammering along, trying to put something together here. So yeah, I noticed Jamal while he's in conversation with Farhan Franzak of RT. He mutes himself and he's talking to his producers. One of them, there's an awkward edit cut. It's gone. But the second one, I guess they were unable to delete it, to scrub it out.
And people are even more angrier than they were before.
How do you think he got this so wrong? I mean, because there was this potential when Biden took office for Democrats to do something significant and different. I mean, after all, they said, give me the House, give us the Senate. Well, the public gave him the Senate. They gave him the House, the Senate, and the presidency. And even though it's a thin majority, it's still a majority.
No, I don't. I think this is actually to the core of what's really wrong with everything. Is you had Donald Trump that called it out before about a terrible swamp here in D.C. And we're not just talking about the weather and the summer months, folks. There truly is a swamp. And I think Joe Biden is, kind of a optimistic type of a person?
So right here is Jamal talking to his engineer during an interview.
And I go back to this all the time. I think social media changed the political game in ways that people still don't even understand. And by them taking Trump off of Twitter, you have all of the Democrats all excited about, oh, yes, they finally got rid of his voice. Well, just be careful because when they start coming after you, let's see how much you like it. And if you're all about freedom of speech, then clearly you're not with the Constitution as a Democrat. But back to my original point, I think a lot of it was where Trump...
I was pestering those guys. They would be tweeting with sock puppets in chat during interviews, during shows. It's the most obvious rigged COINTELPRO that anyone has ever seen before. And that's why Shane just upped and quit. Because if you're not under obligation to be doing some sleazy job, maybe, just maybe, you can find the will to quit such a job. So I'm going to salute. Here's a salute to Shane Stranahan. It's not your fault. You were born into a disinfo shill family. I hope this is legit. I know you have a non-disclosure agreement and you'll never admit that what I'm saying is 100% what happened. Or maybe it was a mutual decision. Maybe Stranahan is still in cahoots with them, so I shouldn't be going bravo just so yet. But that's the story. Shane Stranahan has quit Sputnik because of what I uncovered. It's those videos I cropped out. Jamal, he had the state trooper sunglasses. Myself as a random nobody has yet again altered the course of internet meta history. This has been a breaking news update from the True Scoop News, Tokyo Shemp News, not the fake Scoop Gang crap out of the Five Eyes. Oh, I got more. There's more. Sorry, I got more. Took a few notes. So we'll watch Jamal talking to his engineer. Well, I already said I'm going to mention that. I'll do the audio, then I figured out later on how to mush it together into a video. My channel is mostly about the audio. Not always, but I would say so, mostly. He nods off a lot. Jamal does a lot of nodding, as I've been pointing out the last day or two, nodding is a symptom of opiate junkies. They nod off. They might also wear ski caps indoors. I also jotted down a time. Maybe we can look at his hand. Is that where some needles might go in? Just saying. And the last thing I have jotted down for note, I seem to be on Jamal's mind during this show. I'm the reason why Shane quit. So Jamal's reading off of the teleprompter, and he's talking about the Falkland Islands. But the way he said islands, it sounded like a very popular last name that a lot of us have. So let's roll that video right now. Thank you. Talking to myself, a note to myself. No, I don't have an engineer. I'm not rigged. I'm not reading off of no white tablet teleprompter. This is coming directly out of the noggin of a free spirit.
In holiday news, we have National Cut Your Energy Cost Day, National Clean Off Your Desk Day, and in the Falklands Island, Margaret Thatcher Day. Interesting. Those are your headlines. You guys are listening to Fault Lines. My name is Jamal Thomas.
And in the Falklands Island.
That should about do it. I could rant on and on. I could say how Jamal likes to squint his eyes so we can't see him, that he's glued to a teleprompter just reading crap. Some of it, it's like, okay, he's reading the news, so he's obviously reading off of something. I'm saying the thing's 100% scripted. I proved it, and then Shane quit. This has been breaking news from the Tokyo Shem News Network. Now go back to probably some form of the guy, this guy me. I got perfect pitch, so I'm able to sing. I got some music theory too, a little bit, so I'm able to scat symphonies, for example. But enough about me. That's it, that's the update. Thank you. Take care from Tokyo Shem Productions.